Time you all are. Good evening. The City of Boston Zoning Board of Appeal hearing for October 24, 2024 is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the updated provisions enacted by the legislature last year. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings until March 2025. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the Zoom webinar event platform. This hearing is also being recorded. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to the hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. Board members, applicants, and their attorneys or representatives will participate in the hearing as panelists, and they will appear alongside the presentation materials when speaking. Panelists are strongly encouraged to keep video on while presenting to the board. As with our in-person meetings, comments and support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The chair may limit the number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project, that is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise hand button along the bottom of your screen in the Zoom webinar platform. Click it again and your hand should go down. When the host sees your hand, you will receive a request to unmute yourself. Select yes, and you should be able to talk. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand. You must press *6 to unmute yourself after you receive the request from the host. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Stembridge reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. Okay, Mr. Stembridge.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Present.
Good evening. Ms. Betta-Braza.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Present.
Good evening. Floor is yours, Mr. Stembridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We begin with the hearing scheduled for 5 p.m. First, we have case BOA 1614565 with the address of 36 Robkin Road. If the applicant and or their representative are present, would they please explain the case to the board?
Good evening, board. I'm Michelle Scahill, owner of 36 Robkin Road, here with Carlos Ferreira, our contractor. We are just here to ask for a variance. We are looking to do a dormer on our home, just to have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. We're long-term Rosendale residents and have 4 children and just need some more space. So we had already applied for a permit a couple years ago and had no follow back from no feedback from any neighbors. Everyone is fully on board. So we are hoping you will too.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No questions at all. It's pretty straightforward.
May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and members of the board, for the record, my name is Jeremy Bembury. I am the Rosendale Community Engagement Specialist for the Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant has completed the community process, which consisted of an abutters meeting held on July 10th with no abutters in attendance, and a civic meeting with Longfellow Area Neighborhood Association with no opposition. No letters of opposition or support have been received by our office. Thank you for your time, and the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services would like to defer to the board for their judgment. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge.
Yes.
Ms. Betta-Braza.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
If you could just ask if there was anybody who wanted to comment on the project from the public.
Sure. Was there anybody else wish to comment on this project? Besides ONS?
I see no additional raised hands, Madam Chair.
Okay, is that satisfactory?
Yes, thank you.
And do I need to redo our motions?
Yes, please.
Okay, may I have a motion?
Sure, Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Stenbridge,
yes, Madam Chair.
Ms. Better Brazza,
Yes,
chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1613879 with the address of 43 to 45 Wood Avenue. If the applicant and or their representative are present, will they please explain?
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Patrick Sweeney. I'm an attorney with RC Sweeney, 261 Main Street, Charlestown. Members of the board, I'd ask if we may defer this matter. My client contacted me on Monday. He didn't realize he's in London. Well, he did realize he was in London. His spouse had made the plans and he didn't realize he would be over the Atlantic as the meeting is starting.
Sir? You're
Pardon?
a little shaky.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to hear you.
Sorry. I'm seeking a deferral because I was contacted on Monday by the owner. He's in London, actually on his way back as I speak. And he had trouble getting me the materials to discuss with the board. If we could have just a deferral into next month or whatever is best for the board, we would appreciate it.
Sure. May I have some dates? For the
So
applicant?
we would defer it to the next subcommittee hearing, so it would be November 7th.
Does that work for the applicant?
I have my granddaughter coming up from DC. Could we go to the next meeting after that? I apologize.
That would be December 5th.
That will have to, from my perspective, that's fine. And again, I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of deferral for December 5th.
Is there a second?
Second,
Mr. Stenbridge,
yes.
Ms. Better Brazza,
Yes,
chair votes yes, motion carries. See you then.
Thank
Next, we have case BOA 1611785 with the address of 105 Bowden Avenue. If the applicant and or their representative are present, will they please explain to the board?
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me clearly? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so my name is Ali and I'm here to change the proviso for an existing restaurant located in 105 Bowden Avenue. Was it just an existing restaurant? I'm just taking over, just changing the proviso for takeout. So if you have someone any question or something, you can ask me.
Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none. Is there public testimony?
Or that's, are you speaking on this?
Yes, my apologies. Madam Chair, members of the board, for the record, my name is Jeremy Bembury. I'm the Mid-Dorchester Community Engagement Specialist for the Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant has completed the community process, which consisted of an abutters meeting on June 27th with no abutters in attendance. They then went on to the Civic United Neighborhood Association. I and two other civics as well with no opposition. Thank you for your time, and the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services would like to defer to the board for their judgment at this time.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Any other public comment?
I see no additional raised hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second,
Mr. Stenbridge,
yes.
Ms. Better Brazza,
Yes,
chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
And next we have case BOA 1621090 with the address of 22 Parent Street. If the applicant and or their representative are present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Hi, my name's Will Mead. I'm owner of 22 Parent Street. I had a hearing before that was approved for 2 units in the carriage house and back. The carriage house, the exterior would remain the same other than relocating doors and windows and adding an exterior set of stairs. And I didn't realize I was supposed to file a separate appeal for the fact that it is 2 buildings on 1 lot. So they filed an appeal for that and sent me back. But I didn't realize I was presenting the whole project over again. They said I just had to come back and see you guys because they couldn't move it forward because I had only filed the 1 appeal. Does that make sense?
So what are you presenting right now? I'm sorry.
It's a carriage house.
Yes,
And it's 2 units being put into the carriage house, so it changes the zoning. And yeah.
okay, and well, first let me ask, are there questions from the board?
No, I mean, we're not able to see the project as a full, but it seems like my understanding is that it has already been presented. And that maybe potentially there were some violations that were missed. Did you receive, and maybe Caroline can help, did you receive approval when you presented in front of the ZBA?
I did.
Okay,
Yes,
do you
you
know what
did.
you were approved for? Maybe
Or Caroline, what
the
can you answer?
secretary or
Yeah,
Yeah,
Caroline can help us with what they were approved for and whether they're in front of us to add additional violation. I would imagine that the violation is a 2 or more dwelling on the same lot potentially.
yeah, so it's the same lot and it's just the 2 dwellings. So in the first 22R, they were cited for rear yard, side yard, front yard, usable open space, lot frontage, lot area, off-street parking, and 2 or more dwellings on the same lot. And that was all approved with 0 provisos. So the issue was that the applicant, when they were appealing the decision, they didn't appeal both 22R and 22.
In 22,
Even-
so this one's for 22.
That's
Correct.
Okay, that makes complete sense. Okay, great. So I don't have any further questions. That's very clear.
and sir, can you just clarify, when were you approved from this board? When were you last, when did you last present?
April 26th. And
Okay,
I just didn't, I'm new to the process, so I just didn't understand because there's nothing happening with the main house. I didn't realize that I was supposed to file an appeal, so I missed that. And then when I was getting ready to go on to the next parts of the process, they said you have to go back and see you guys and file for the main house, which I missed because there was didn't realize I had to do it, even though there's no changes happening to the main house.
and I don't know if ONS can answer this or you can. So can you just remind us what community process took place the previous time? As it does appear, we did get a letter from district counselor seeking more community process or community process.
I did, I had butters meetings, I had neighborhood presentation, and I also got a list of approval from abutters that was sent in for the original hearing.
Okay, thank you. With that, can I open it to public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office could defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information, the community process. ONS had conducted a butters meeting on November 6th. Afterwards, the applicant went on to meet with the Roxbury Path Forward Neighborhood Association. I believe they met a couple of times. The Civic ultimately issued a partial letter of support that came in on February 23rd. They were pleased with the preservation of the carriage house. So I guess there had been a loss of some other similar carriage houses in other parts of the neighborhood. They did have some concerns expressed though regarding parking, the number of spaces that can be utilized in the driveway. With that information, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Any
Chair,
other raised hands?
I have three raised hands, Madam Chair.
Okay, please
Maureen,
proceed.
I'm gonna unmute you to speak.
Hello. I am here actually as an abutter. I live at 85 Moreland Street. And I'm also representing the neighborhood association, Roxbury Path Forward, that was referred to. And just as the owner stated, there just was a lot of confusion with this process. Even at the hearing in February, he says, I've got plenty of parking. And the way that these hearings work, where the proponent gets to talk at length, that was simply not true. And he did have a meeting, but that plan, the first page of the plan that you showed that removes parking from the street, he just didn't discuss that. And so we would really like to have a deferral of this hearing so that the abutters can actually have a meeting and he could explain this in a more organized way. And you heard him tonight. He said, I didn't know. So it would just really be a benefit to this neighborhood if you could allow the abutters to be fully informed about what is being requested.
Thank you.
District 7, you have the ability to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. I just want to echo some of the concerns of the community. I will read on behalf of Councilor Anderson and say she writes to you, board, in regard to the proposed zoning variances sought by the developers of this parcel. Again, there was some confusion around the address, 22 or 22R Parent Street in Roxbury. She kindly asks that this matter be deferred to allow for more time in the community review process because multiple residents have reached out with an interest in getting more information on the project before it's able to move forward with a decision by your body. Community input is vital to ensure that residents with a longer history in community can provide advice and feedback to ensure that this property meets the moment. With some extra time, the community will have the opportunity to provide substantive feedback, and the councilor hopes that you will defer this matter to allow for a collaborative community process. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excellence, I just unmute you to speak.
That was Angie of the District 7 office. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any other raised hands?
Yes, we have two more raised hands.
Okay.
Back excellence, so you can speak.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay, hi, my name is Livette Coney. I'm the president of Mount Pleasant Forest and Vine Neighborhood Association. And we abut Roxbury Path Forward. And part of our mission is to also be in collaboration with all the neighborhoods that surround us. So I think that the proponent is very confused and he needs to make sure that he goes to the people that actually matter, like the abutters, and make sure that they are informed. You can't make a decision without having information. So for them not to have the plans ahead of time so they can preview them and go over them is doing a disservice to the process. Thank you.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
I'm gonna unmute you to speak.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Sandlin Thompson. I live on 12 Parent Street. I'm an abutter. I thought I know I had a clear understanding of what was going on at 22 and 22R. I support it 100%. If you could even see the setup, there's plenty of parking. I'm very confused on why this is being postponed again, and I hope it won't be postponed for too long if the CBA determines that it has to be postponed.
Thank you, ma'am.
They've been a wonderful neighbor, and you know, I used to work at Urban Edge, so I'm a little familiar with housing, and I thought everything was pretty clear, but thank you for giving me the time to speak.
Thank you.
No additional
other-
raised hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
I have a question. Is this cottage unit, is it for the homeowner? Is it to be rented? Yeah, I was just wondering.
It's to be rented.
Okay, so and you lived in the area for a while?
I still live in the area. I've been here 10 years.
Okay, great. I have no further questions.
Not the area. I live in the house, the main house.
Okay, and would you like to respond to the feedback that was provided? by the public comment?
I would. I was told by my liaison I did not even need to do a meeting for Lorraine because I don't land in her area. She isn't a butter. And I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to ruffle any feathers, and I didn't want to be sneaking anything by the people in my community. So I did propose to her, but I had already done 2 other neighborhood meetings that I was told to do. I did Project Right and the 7.1, it's like kind of like a sub neighborhood group within that's on Perrin Street, and they were in full support. So anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Is anyone from, Madam Chair, is anyone from ONS here?
Well, Connor Newman spoke on this. What's your question, if he's still on?
Basically, I'm curious as to what the community process was.
Yeah, so as I testified before, we had an abutters meeting that occurred November 6th. They then went on to meet with, it sounds like 2 civic associations. We had on file a letter of partial support, like I mentioned, from Roxbury Path Forward. I did not facilitate the process, but I think concerns that occurred from neighbors was, what would the parking situation be like? I'm not sure if during this process there was BTD review or Boston Fire Department review of the particular driveway and the curb cut itself. I believe that's what the majority of the concern is focused on. But I understand that meeting with those civics, there were several times that the proponent checked in with the civic association and provided further information upon request. So, you know, as you mentioned previously, they've been to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and then it sounds like there was a variance that was missed, and that's why we're back here right now.
Thank you, Connor.
Certainly.
Madam Chair, I have a hand raised by Black Excellence again. Do you want me to unmute? Unmute you to speak.
Hi, thank you. I just want to have provide some clarity. If the proponent has been here for 10 years, he should know that there's a difference between a neighborhood association that doesn't get paid and they do it voluntarily, or an organization that gets paid to do their work. And then a watch group, which is a group of people on a street, maybe 2 individuals that don't send out any kind of information to the rest of the neighborhood. So there has to be clarity around which one of those entities actually robustly, you know, engage people to take part in the community process, right? So if he's going to people who, like, maybe the one group I know in particular is a street group, like they're just a group of people who watch a block. And that one of the individuals is really elderly and doesn't use any kind of like media communication, like email and so forth. And then the other group is a person who leads the group and is paid to lead that organization.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to put a motion of deferral to the next board, the Tuesday full board. And that would give the applicant the time to do another kind of round of due diligence in regards to setting up a neighborhood meeting, flyer around, the abutters, the adjacent neighbors, and just do just an additional community meeting
Ms.
to
Better
let
Baraza, the next hearing is next Tuesday, so I'm guessing that
so
is not
maybe
your proposal.
the next one, not next Tuesday, but the next one. And I think it's important if the applicant can get a hold of someone at the mayor's office of housing to potentially also communicate to the neighbors about our city's plan of adopting ADUs in the city as an avenue to provide additional housing. It's just a suggestion. That's what I would like to, because I think the project has already been approved. We know that, but I think the full board needs to know that there's an additional relief that is needed, and we should take advantage of informing the public what city's goals are for increasing housing stock.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sorry to interrupt. So just to clarify, we would need to defer it if it's not for this coming hearing on Tuesday. It would be for the next subcommittee, which would be November 7th.
I'm not asking for the subcommittee, I'm asking for the full
He's
board.
asking for a full board so that the full board can hear this.
Right. And then, but from there, they also have noticed today as we're speaking that they have it for the subcommittee as well as the full board hearing.
Did they have what?
I'm sorry, what are you saying?
So because it's being heard at a subcommittee, so I mean.
My
and-
motion is to put this
Is to put it
forward
on
to
a
the
full board.
full board hearing.
Correct. And I'm just, for the dates.
Right,
we
So
can
it's
not next
not
Tuesday,
gonna be
the
the next
following.
one because the next one is too soon. So when is the next one after that?
November 26th.
So November
Okay.
26th is what I'm deferring to.
Okay. And did I hear a second?
Yes, you did, Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. Stembridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, the motion carries. I would encourage the applicant to revisit his hearing as well in April, because, again, if you had letters of support and opposition, you should make note of them and come back better prepared. Thank you. All right, I believe, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last hearing. Is that right? All right, so with that, I'll see you at the next full board.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, folks.
Good
Thank
night.
Good night.